Executive Director of Al-Awda, the Palestine Right to Return Coalition, and on behalf of my organization and the Students for Justice in Palestine at UCSD, I welcome you to this important event that we are holding here today in San Diego. Our organization, Al-Awda, is, as many of you here know, is focused and concentrates its activism and its advocacy for the right of Palestinian refugees, actually the right of all Palestinians, to be able to return to their homes and lands from which they were dispossessed since 1948. Our advocacy has been quite prominent in these last few months, especially in relation to what's been happening in Gaza, where 80% of the population are actually refugees displaced from towns and cities just north of Gaza. In towns like Najd, which they call Sderot, Kiryat Gat, which is what we call Iraq al-Manshiyya and al-Fallujah, from Bir al-Sab'a, from Ashdod, from all these areas in the southern part of Palestine, occupied Palestine, and where we believe that we have a fundamental, inalienable, natural, legal, and historical right to return to our homes and lands, a right from which we have been denied by the Zionist entity and its imperial supporters for over 60 years now. I want to make a couple of announcements before I introduce our special guest and the honor of the special guest having him here with us today. One, we do have a convention that's coming up this May 22 to May 24, that's going to be taking place in Anaheim over that weekend. And there are a number of important speakers who will be joining us, and I hope others will be persuaded to join us then too. Our guest tonight is a very, very special guest. I've actually known myself, I've known of George Galloway's work since the days of Dundee, when I was a student at the time, and we heard of this local council person who had actually succeeded in twinning the first European city, Dundee, with Nablus. And the Palestinian flag flew over the city council in Dundee, and I remember us students from GUPS, us students from the Friends of Palestine, the Arab Society, and all those who were active in the Dundee Student Union at the time went to that place actually to take pictures of that, what was a historic event, in fact, at the time. And that was actually the first time we became aware, in fact, that we had a staunch ally and a staunch supporter of the Palestinian cause, George Galloway. But not only that, he was also actually an activist who was an anti-war activist, and for that, actually, he was, in fact, let go by the Labour Party because he stood up against the Labour Party and its positions on the war in Iraq. George Galloway is also known to you most recently, although he has a tremendous history that I will abbreviate into three, which is, you all are aware of the Viva Palestina aid convoy to Gaza. And this was achievement that nobody, even the media who chose to ignore it, don't ever let anybody tell you that this was not a historic. This convoy that came all the way from the UK, okay, from England, and all the way through the borders, even opened the borders between Algeria and Morocco, which had been locked shut for 15 years. It opened it and kept sending the message to Egypt, to Mubarak, as if people are coming aid convoy that you should open the border to Rafah. Open the border for Rafah so that this aid convoy can go through. And it was actually remarkable that Muammar Gaddafi actually provided double that number, and that was an achievement. The message was very clear. The message went from one end of Europe right to the heart in Gaza. And it came through, and this huge, massive convoy really was uplifting. It was inspiring to us all. It made us think, you know, here in San Diego, for example, we went out daily, almost daily, to protest the carnage that was going on in Gaza. It was absolutely horrific. And we went out on the streets and we expressed that. And I'm proud to say Al-Awda took a leadership role in this, not only in this area, but around the country. But at the end of it, we raised funds. We even raised funds. We raised funds for the Gaza Mental Hospital, which was actually destroyed among the other 18 hospitals that were destroyed in Gaza. And so we raised funds, but we always felt there was something else we could do. And the inspiration that this Gaza convoy gives us actually maybe is something that can be addressed by George himself. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome George Galloway